Hey, everybody. Welcome to Paranormal Vantage Point. I'm your host, Bud Kelly. Tonight, we've got Madison Smith on, a young paranormal investigator and a host of a paranormal radio show called Spoopy Talk. And tonight, I have got my 9-year-old daughter, Ella, co-hosting with me. So, are we ready, Ella? Yeah. All right, well, let's get it. Hi, Madison. Are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Awesome. How you doing?
Not too bad. And yourself?
Well, not too bad for an old man.
That's good.
Awesome. So, how you been?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Yourself?
Awesome. Not bad at all. Okay, so welcome to Paranormal Vantage Point. I've got my daughter
Thank
Ella
you.
co-hosting with me tonight. So if you don't mind it, you want to go ahead and tell everybody like a little about yourself, like kind of what got you interested in everything and everything you got going on and stuff.
Gotcha. So my name is Madison Smith. I am 14 years old. I've been in the field, I think 2 to 3 years. I believe that might be wrong. But practically what got me into it is, you know what? Let's take you out to a real one. And then that's what really got me started.
Can you repeat that? Because I think we just had a little bad connection, if you don't mind.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So my name is Madison Smith. I am 14. What got me into the field is I was watching all the shows as a kid. And then my dad one day was like, you know what? Let's get you into a real one. So then just went off from there.
Okay, so what all shows did you watch?
I can't recall most of them, but I can recall like Ghost Adventures
Mhm.
and like Haunted Collector, I think it was.
Okay.
And then a bunch of other ones.
Right.
That's all like I can remember, I think. Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so like back in my day, we didn't have the TV shows. All we had was radio. Like we had Coast to Coast AM, which is actually still on the radio.
Yeah.
So okay, so you actually host a paranormal radio show, correct?
I do.
So what got you interested in doing that?
To be honest, someone kind of convinced me to do it. Like at first I didn't really want to because I
Okay.
was like, no, people are gonna like judge me for it. But then they convinced me and it actually wasn't that even that bad.
Okay. So like what networks are you on?
I'm on Spreaker. That's the platform that we use.
Okay.
Or that I use. But I'm also on a couple other streaming apps like Spotify
Okay.
and everything. So
Gotcha. So so like how many guests do you have? Like
it kind of just all depends. Usually I do it every other weekend. But during softball season,
right.
I have to like take breaks. And then on October I can't do it since I have work.
Okay.
But after that we kind of stick to the schedule.
Right. Because it's a lot easier to like even around here. It's like around winter time. It's easier to sit because you got nowhere to go. It's snowing and too cold to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So okay, so like when you started like doing investigations and stuff, like what got you traveling and what places really struck interest with you?
So for me, the places that spark interest are old asylums, hospitals, anything that's like a medical type of building. I really like those. Same with battlefields or battleships, like just the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just ties it all together for me, kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha. So what's your favorite places
Yeah.
you've been to?
Ooh, favorite places. For me, my favorite place is probably the old YMCA in Rock Island, Dan Viner Furniture. I don't know why, but like I just connect with all the spirits over there like so well.
Right.
It's a really nice place. Like for me, before I had work and everything over the summer, I would go there every single day. And I think that's another reason why I connect with them more because they know me.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, like, what all goes down when you go? Like, I mean, what all kind of happens?
Okay, so one time, so there's this old running track. There used to be this gym floor, but they ripped it out, and now there's a ramp. And below the ramp is like this garage area, and if you look straight up, the ramp's right there. And multiple times I've gone there and just see someone like leaning over the balcony of where the track sits.
Okay.
And we've got pictures of the person that we believe is up there. We called him the man with wired glasses because you can see it very clearly with the garage area. We were looking up and we just started talking, and then we heard someone talking back, and for like 5 to 7-ish minutes, it was just plain as day, like me and you talking right now. And then it just stopped.
Really? Like, I mean, so you could hear actually something audible with your ears?
Like it was very faint.
Okay.
But we could still hear it.
Oh, gotcha. So this happens like multiple times every time you go, or?
Not every time, but multiple occasions when I do go there, I usually see something, hear something, like something always happens, especially in the pool area or where the track is, which is near the same area. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So what places what places have you like not been to, but it's still is like on your bucket list? Yeah, I mean, let's say anywhere in the world.
Ooh, I'm glad that you asked.
I've got a few.
I want to go to Beverly Hills Sanitarium so bad. Or Waverly, not Beverly. I always mix them up.
Oh, Waverly
Hills. I want to go there so bad.
You want to hear something bad?
Like it seems like such a cool place. Yeah.
I'm only about an hour and a half from there. Of course. Because I'm here in Indiana. And I'm only about an hour and a half. Okay. And I've never been there yet. I know exactly where it is too, but I just never been yet. But I've got tons of people I know that's been there and had awesome times.
I would do so many things to get into that building.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I know.
Like for me, I can't go to any public investigations because I'm too young to go to any of the public investigations. So
and also it's like you got to take a lot of people to go to, though. I mean, you got to it's like usually about 10 people, I think, at a time anyway, if I'm thinking correctly. But yeah, Waverly Hills, like I've got friends that's been and they just love it. I mean, it's been like one of their top places to go, and they've had pretty cool experiences, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I've never been there yet, and I'm dying to go. And it's just one of the things, like, life happens, you got to work, I got a kid, so it's kind of like, so, but hopefully someday, I can get there. So where else would you like to go to, though? I mean, like, what?
I would also like to go to the Gettysburg, Maine bucket list of places to go.
Okay. But like say like somewhere like out of the country. Let's just say somewhere outside the United States, like in a different, like say maybe a Europe or
Oof.
Japan, or where would you like to go?
Hmm. That's a really good question. I haven't really thought out of the United States because like I've never been anywhere near a plane. So, you know,
Oh, you never been on a plane?
so yeah.
It's underrated.
No.
It's underrated.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to hand over questions and let Ella talk to you for a little bit. Then maybe me and her will go back and forth.
All right.
Okay, ready, Ella? You want the headphones? There you go.
Hello.
How old were you when you started investigating?
I want to believe that I was 11 or 10 when I started investigating.
Do you have a favorite location?
Dan Viner Furniture or YMCA, 100%, you know?
Have you ever had anything happen while you were out of investigation?
I mean, I've had a lot of stuff happen. Like, what do you mean by that? Is there a specific thing that you want to hear?
No.
No? Okay. So, what's a good one? Like, I've seen a lot of stuff, heard a lot of stuff, you know? So, yeah.
I heard you like Ghostbusters.
I sure do.
I do too.
I love Ghostbusters. Oh my God, yes. And then I couldn't help but notice the Darth Vader sweatshirt. Love Star Wars. He's my favorite character.
Do you have a favorite Ghostbuster movie?
Oh, that's a hard one. Man. So for me, I like all of them, but the first two, when it was just the original gang, those are probably like just my favorites.
Do you have a favorite person in Ghostbusters?
I sure do. So for me, I like Egon Spengler and Ray Stans. Those two are my favorites.
Do you have any favorite equipment that you use?
So I have this little sensor dog named Milo, and he's just like a REM pod, but he is one of my favorites. Same with dowsing rods. I have a pair of lighted ones that can change color, and honestly, they're my favorite. I take them everywhere.
So anywhere you go, you use them?
I do. Like wherever I go, you'll always see me with my dowsing rods and Milo, like 100%.
What made you want to investigate?
Like said, it kind of just stemmed from all of the TV shows that I saw. Like it just caught my eye. And just ever since then, I've always been fascinated by it. and the afterlife just in general fascinated me, like what came after death kind of thing. So, yeah.
Do you have like a favorite guest or someone that you met?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Um, so, I don't think I have a favorite, but I do like a lot of people. Like everyone in the field, a lot of them are really nice, and I really appreciate that.
What kind of shows did you used to watch when you were younger?
Let's see. I know that there was Haunted Collector, Ghost Adventures, and then like this Asylum one. I can't remember what it was called, but I know that had something to do with old abandoned asylums. I think that's where the asylums and hospitals kind of tied in with my childhood. So, you know.
Is it like hard to do investigating in softball and doing a podcast?
No, but at the same time, yes. So when I was still playing high school, I would have to choose between softball and doing an investigation or doing my podcast. And I just chose the podcast and doing investigations because, I'd rather be doing something that I really enjoy. Like, don't get me wrong, I love softball, but paranormal investigation is like my top priority.
It must be hard doing all those stuff though when you started.
Yeah, I will admit I was tired a lot of the time since I would have to go to investigation to softball practice and do that over and over and over. But then I got used to it and, you know,
Did you ever go to like a different state to investigate there?
I have for a few.
Do you like traveling to go to new places to investigate, or do you just like staying?
For me, I'm kind of in between on it. So I get car sick really easily, but I love seeing new places and seeing new faces and just meeting everyone. So for me, as long as I can like relax in the back seat, I'm fine.
Have you ever been like scared to go in a place when you were younger? Cause um like if anything that happened that you wouldn't want to go in there again?
Good question.
For me, I don't think there is a place that I'm particularly scared of in any way. Like I've had some stuff happen, but it hasn't really affected me to the point where I'm never going back somewhere.
I've only been to the Hannah house.
And how was that?
Um, at first I wouldn't go down in the basement, but then I did tours down there.
Mm-hmm.
I went there a lot. And for
Yeah.
the paranormal day, that's where I did the tours.
I'm gonna have to go down there sometime.
It's a big and I mean it's really old.
Yeah.
1958.
Where was your first investigation?
My first ever investigation was at the Rimwick Mansion, which
How was that?
I think, like, so it was pretty good. Like, having my first investigation there, I noticed a lot of faces because some of them were on YouTube, and I just saw them and I was like, huh, I know them. I wonder, oh, wait, they're from YouTube. I know them. I know them.
Did you like the new Ghostbuster movie?
I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong, every time I saw it, I cried my eyes out, but it was so good.
Is there equipment that you think works the best?
Um, that's a really good question. So I think it just depends on the person who's using it. Like, there's a preference, of course. For me, I like the old school hands-on type of equipment just because it helps me like keep focused on certain things and I don't just like wander off. Like dowsing rods, pendulums, anything that's hands-on, old school. I prefer that. But I know a lot of people, they like the spirit boxes and a lot of that, which I think are pretty cool, you know? So I think it's all just based on preference.
Have you ever seen like strange stuff while you were investigating?
Ooh, I've seen a lot of strange stuff. So I've seen like, pardon?
We used
Okay.
um
So like for me, oh, sorry.
so you can go. Do you think any places are actually haunted?
I think every place can be haunted in its own way. Like some places are more haunted than others, or they have a lot more activity. But I think every place has a chance, you know?
Do you believe in the stories like Annabelle and stuff like that?
So I believe in the not Ed, the Lorraine and Ed Warren cases. I do. I actually looked up to them when I was younger, so you know, I do believe in a lot of that. And like in the movies, obviously, but the real stories, I do believe in them.
Yeah. I believe in the Annabelle one because some people actually record
Mhm.
Annabelle like moving.
Yeah.
You can keep going if you want. Okay, now I'm back.
Welcome.
Okay, so back to the radio show. I don't know if she asked this question or not because it was hard for me to hear. But is there anybody like you would love to get on your show? Like it can be anybody, like somebody on TV, movie star, or
Oof. That's a really good question. So for me, I'd love to get like at least one of the Ghostbuster actors from the original films on my show. Like I would just love to meet them, even if it wasn't face to face.
Dan Aykroyd would be awesome.
Mhm.
Because if you like look up like Dan Aykroyd, I mean that man has a ton of knowledge. And also in reality, his like dad and grandfather
Agreed.
did like paranormal research as well. So, you know, so that man has, even when it comes to UFOs, that man has like just a head full of knowledge, you know, and all the research he's done. And I mean, he just, I think he would be amazing to have on. And I mean, that'd be like a conversation that could go like forever and ever and ever and stuff like that. So you're located in Iowa, correct?
Correct.
There's somebody that I would love to have on my podcast that is from Iowa in a famous metal band and also wrote a paranormal book. Corey Taylor of Slipknot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, actually, and I didn't know, but it was like a couple of years ago. He wrote a. I've been a fan of Slipknot forever, and I guess he wrote a book about the paranormal. And actually, I have it on my Kindle. And I read it probably about 6 months ago. And it's actually pretty good because he talks about places like when he was younger, places in Iowa that you know that he actually would like, go into abandoned places and stuff like that. And, you know, and the book's pretty good. You know, and now is that the same? I can't be wrong with this, but is that the same place where the Ballistic Axe murders was?
Which place?
Iowa. Was that place located in Iowa?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yep. I think I've been there once or twice. I can't remember.
Okay. So how was it?
For me, it wasn't as active, but for others it was. But personally, I think it was a really cool place, including that there was a cemetery and they kind of turned the place into a museum. So people come in, they can see what happened. And I think it's really neat that they tell the history of it in full detail.
I've seen the place like on YouTube and different paranormal shows and stuff like that. So I don't know if you've had the same experience as I have. But like you see these places on YouTube and ghost hunting shows, and then that's kind of like my, I don't want to say problem, but I mean you get that issue of where kind of, I mean, because TV's TV, you know, I mean it is what it is. It's entertainment and it's meant for entertainment. But people get on this kick, and I don't know if you experienced this as well, but people gets hyped up from watching the TV and from watching like YouTube, and all of a sudden they go and they're like, really? This wasn't all that great. So have you experienced that?
Yeah. So for some evidence, but it wasn't as major as like hearing bangs or whispers and stuff that happened on the TV. But
Yeah.
honestly, I'm okay with that because it's
Right.
not going to happen every single time, and you're
No.
not guaranteed evidence for each and every place that you go. So I was still happy about just going there and just seeing the place.
I mean, it's like with me though, I'm kind of when I first started getting into it, like when I started like traveling and stuff like that, I am a huge history nut. I mean, I'm just a huge history. And I'm like, I love going to locations more about the history if it's haunted or not. It's like, because me and a friend of mine, Frank, that I've had on the podcast, and me and him talked about that. And I was kind of like, you know, just so awesome to where, you know, you just go see the history of it and go to historical locations and turn around. And kind of sometimes I don't care if it has to do with ghosts or not. You know, it's like you just love the history of the place, and like you just mentioned earlier, like it has to do with like, let's say Gettysburg. I mean, just for people to go there and witness it. You know, to me, it's more, I think, more important to me than anything.
That's how I am as well. Like I've always loved history and had like a fascination for it kind of thing. Like I've always just liked it.
Right. It's like with me, I think one of my favorite places on my bucket list that I would go would always been Alcatraz. It's like I had one of my aunts, her and my cousin went, and they got to do a tour and stuff like that. And I was like, man, this has always been one of my favorite places to check out and stuff like that. So when it comes to like, let's say investigating the paranormal and stuff like that, kind of like say when you go into a location, do you kind of go in with an open mind? I mean, do you kind of like just go in and say, okay, it is what it is. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be haunted. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, I mean, so just like, kind of like where you can set, kind of like what I'm getting at is where kind of like I've had these conversations with a lot of people. And like, for example, it's like, you know, being a part of the Hannah House, and people will come and do investigations there. Then they come along and like, well, you know, like, you know, nothing happened. And I'm kind of sitting there like going, what did you want? You know, I mean, like you mentioned earlier, it's kind of like, you know, like, you know, you like, you know, you're not going to get doors slamming. You're not going to get somebody screaming or, you know, stuff like that. So kind of the question I was getting at. It's like, have you like started like, you know, always going in open-minded, you know, where you can separate explanation from not explanation?
So for me personally, I go in there open-minded. If something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I'm not gonna hold spirits accountable to do something, kind of thing. Just going screaming at them like, "Oh, you better shut a door!" Like, why should I?
Right. And that's kind of like the thing, you know. It's like I think it's what, like when people watch the paranormal TV shows or the ghost hunting shows, you know, and it's like I try to tell people, it's like, you know, kind of, it's entertainment. You know, you kind of take it for what it is. You know, I'm not against the TV shows. I mean, it depends which ones. Because I got my favorite ones. You know, I got some that I think that I don't mind.
I am.
Like, there's some I don't mind watching, but there are some that's like, you know, like I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't watch it. It's like really? Like you're really doing that? Like, and you want people to believe it? You know? But there was one, who was it?
that's how I am. Like I'll watch certain ones and I'll just be like, okay, but why?
Right. You know, it's like, I think it's Ghost Brothers. That one,
Yeah.
I love watching that show. I mean, those guys,
I was literally just watching it in the other room.
and I was like, and it's mostly because, I mean, they're entertaining to watch. You know, they're really funny, really good guys. I
Yeah.
mean, I've known people to meet them and say they're really good guys. You know,
Mhm.
and it's just, and it's entertaining. They're really funny, you know, and it gets you into the show, you know, to where it doesn't have to
Mhm.
be overly dramatic. It doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be that, well, we're going to make it look scary when it's not, you know.
Mm.
I had a chance to meet,
Yeah.
I went to Ashmore Estates in Illinois, and
Mhm.
and I got to meet the guy, well, I think three of them, the guys from Tennessee Race Chasers, and they are totally down to, man, those super nice guys, and it was just an event to raise, I
Mhm.
think it was to raise money and stuff like that, and I mean, those guys were totally down to earth. I mean, just super good guys. You know, really took the time to talk to you and took the time to just, you know, hang out with you. You know,
Mhm.
that was pretty cool. And then I had a chance to meet Ben Hansen at Rhodes Hotel, which if you ever get a chance to come to Indiana, that's one place you got to check.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm the guy that owns the place, super nice guy. I mean, just really down to earth, and you know, and also this podcast actually tries to support Lost Limbs Foundation, which is also the foundation Mike Couch founded. And so I tried to use this podcast to, you know, support Lost Limbs and get people on board to help donate and stuff like that. So very fortunate to at least try to help, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one kind of a weird question. Is there anybody you would love to interview on a radio show that has nothing to do with the paranormal shows, that has nothing to do with the paranormal shows, or basically say like a music entertainer or somebody, and just to see if they're into the paranormal?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Man, I was not prepared for that question. Um, so like a music entertainer?
Yeah, oh, anybody. I mean, just anybody at the top of your head that's like, say, if you've got a favorite movie star, or that, you know, you would sit there and say, I just wonder if they have a really good ghost story to tell.
I mean, I've already said Dan Aykroyd, so I can't say that again. Who else would I like to like have? I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Gonna answer that truthfully. I don't know.
There's sometimes I think about that. Like, I'll sit there and say, you know, I just wondered. Because like my grandmother, you know, she didn't believe in ghosts whatsoever. Did not even, was one of those type of people that when you go, you either go up or you go down, you know. But she told me a story that had to do with her and my grandfather. And then I'm sitting there listening to the story, and I look at her and I go, so what was it? She goes, I don't know. And I go, was it a ghost? And she goes, no. And I go, well, what was it? I don't know. Wasn't no ghost though. But I mean, she swore to the story. You know, that what her and my grandfather witnessed. But I mean, but totally. Yep, want a ghost. Then they're going, well, what was it? You know, I don't know. So stuff like that is like the reason why I kind of asked what I just asked, because you want to go. So like people will be a non-believer, which is fine. I mean, well, we're all entitled to our opinion. But then turn around and it's like, well, you know, I did have this.
Yeah.
You know, well, this one time, it just happened, but you know, there ain't no such thing, trust me. Excuse me.
I've met some people like that. Don't worry.
So, like with your radio show, what's your family think about it? I mean,
So, like, my family supports me.
that's awesome.
You know,
that's really
like
cool.
if I really want to do something, they'll let me do it unless it's that stupid.
My family's the opposite. They would just let me go ahead and do something stupid. Then turn on just so they can say I told you so. That's my dad in a nutshell.
Like, unless it's no, it's like I've done some really stupid stuff. Not on camera, but I've done some stupid stuff. In my family, they don't like they just don't care.
Right. So with the paranormal stuff, they're really supportive of it, like with your radio show, and kind of let you do your own thing.
Yeah.
That's
like
really
my mom's
cool.
a believer. My dad was skeptical until proven, kind of thing. So
okay, so
yeah.
So he was skeptical, but what made him cross over to say, okay, now I believe. Okay, now we see what's going on. So what actually happened?
Okay, so I may get the vacation at Renwick Manor or Renwick Mansion, whatever you prefer, kind of thing.
Okay.
But I was with another group and he was downstairs and something happened or came across a voice box and he just couldn't explain it or like whatever happened. So he was like, okay, maybe something does exist, kind of thing. And then my mom, on the other hand, she's always believed in it. Like,
so your mom's always been a believer. So
yeah.
Was there something
like one of her things that she's always told me, like one of the things that she's always told me is this one story. It was someone's house, like her grandmother's, I think, and her grandfather passed away, and she would always go down in the basement to grab something. And there would always be like anymore. And sometimes you went down there, nothing. And then another time it smelled like cigar. So it was like off and on. The lights would flicker down there, even though there was nothing wrong. And then she also heard stuff. And then I think that she saw something once. But she's always just believed in it.
Oh, gotcha. So like when she would go down to the basement, she would like smell a cigar. But, like nobody was smoking a cigar.
Like a freshly
That's a pretty distinct
freshly lit and smoked cigar.
Now
and no one in the house except the grandfather would smoke. Yeah, like it was strong.
Okay.
Like once you pass that basement door, you smelt it.
Wow. That's a pretty distinct, yeah, like I just said, is a pretty distinct smell. You know, it ain't like.
Yeah, it was weird, but.
That happened to me.
Like you can tell that it's a cigar.
That happened to me one time. I was doing a residential investigation. kind of like not too far
Mhm.
from here, from where I live now. I mean, it could be anything. I'm not saying it was paranormal or whatever, but it lasted like 2 seconds of like this old lady's perfume. And it's like, it was just like an old,
Yep.
I mean, it
Had
just
that
had this,
happen.
it's had this, that was our dog. It was just like a smell.
It's all right.
He's a good boy though. It was like a smell that just like an old woman's perfume, and it didn't, like those smells that kind of like it doesn't smell all that great. Like it's like that strong,
Yeah.
like overpowering. It's like, ugh. Like like you just want to. And it lasted like probably.
Yeah.
And it only lasted like probably I'd say maybe 3 seconds. And a guy that was on our team, his name is Steve, and Steve's a great guy. And I really miss hanging out with him. He's just a good dude. And he actually is the one I didn't say nothing because I don't like kind of like where your mind takes over, and you start questioning yourself. Well, maybe it could be this. Well, maybe it could be that. And he's the one that said, he was like, "Do you smell that?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, but dude," I was like, "Where's that coming from?" And he was like, "I have no idea." So. And but yeah, that was an investigation that was really pretty cool.
Like I walked into some places like yeah.
So that's what made your mom a believer. Kind of like just stay in different places or staying at that place.
Yeah. Like even before that she believed in it, like not out of experience.
Okay.
It's like experiences, but just in general. She was like, there has to be something more than just us. Like,
right. I'm like
on this. She was like, okay, yeah.
I'm like it with UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge UFO believer. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I am a huge just UFO fanatic. And I've always have been since I was a little kid. And that's like, even like with ghosts, like I've investigated the ghost thing for a good long while. And so it's kind of like, but I've never really had experiences with ghosts or anything, even though I was would investigate the research and all that, or what could cause, let's say, ghost phenomena, let's just say, and always try to look at everything very scientific. And as a skeptic, let's just say, when it came to UFOs, I had an experience. And ever since then, firm believer. It's like, call me crazy, I don't care. It's like, so, yeah. But it's very cool that your parents really support what you're doing, and that's really cool of them to do. And I mean, because even with Ella, because she was because I've always been a part of the Hannah House Done tours, always helped with, like, well, we do something once a year called Paranormal Celebration Day, usually in August. And yeah, if you can make the trip, feel free. I mean, it's like an all-day thing where like ghost hunting teams, psychics, everybody comes and sets up a booth. And they do a tour of the house and stuff like that. So if you're able to make it, man, that'd be awesome. Because Ella started helping me with that.
It sounds really cool. Like I'd love to.
It's very cool, and you'd love the house. I'll try to send you a link to the website and stuff like that. And yeah, if you can make it there, that'd be awesome. Because I even got all my friends so far that I've had on the podcast. You know, they would be like, oh man, it sounds like really cool. And it's like, it really is. It's like an all-day thing. People sets up, like Sarah, like she set up a booth with all of her art and stuff like that, sold crafts. You know, it's like I said, it's like, you know, with psychics and ghost hunting teams, and you get to meet everybody and you get to go around and, you know, everybody gets to hang out and have a good time. You know, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds really cool. Like, I would love to go.
Yeah, it's really cool. You would love it. Just like I said, the house has been there since 1858. I started doing tours there back 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and stuff like that. So, but it's just an interesting place. I mean, it's just one of those places I think, you know, you just fall in love with. You know, just one of the locations that just feels just amazing to be at.
Yeah.
One of those places.
Yeah. And what experiences have you had there?
You know, if I had a nickel for every time I've been asked that, I'd have a lot of nickels.
Oh yeah.
You know, believe it or not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I gotta say, there was a time I was hanging out with the caretaker. We're just sitting there, we're just basically just hanging out. And
yeah.
And I'm not saying it's paranormal, and I'm not ruling out it had anything to do with ghosts or whatever. But the only time this has ever happened was there. I literally sit there and watch my phone from a full charge to dead in a matter of probably like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, I sit there and just watch the battery just go dead. And I'm like, I'm holding it going. Like, really? And that's the only time I've ever watched my phone. That's the only time I ever watched my phone. And to sit there and go, okay, because I'm a skeptic. I'm still a skeptic. You know, but you're going, like, okay, like, how did this happen? It's like the only time it's ever happened. Now was the only time it's ever happened to my phone, before and after. You know, then there is a lot of times where, like say if we was doing, like we used to have open houses before the pandemic. And so I would go to open the house and I'd be there by myself. Or like say like there's a lot of nights where I would open up the house, paranormal teams or ghost hunting teams would come in and investigate for the night. So I would go hang at the house. So you go to open up and go through to make sure everything's okay and ready to go for them. You always had a feeling, and even like previous people would even say, it's like you just get a feeling if somebody's walking around with you. You know, you just always have and it's not a feeling to where you're saying it's a ghost or you're thinking it's not paranormal, but you just got a feeling. You just have that feeling someone's walking around with you. You know, someone's just right by your side, just kind of walking around, hanging out with you. And you just always had a feeling you're not alone. It is not a weird feeling. It's not nothing.
Yeah.
It's just odd. And I'm not the only one that says it. And that's really about, but to be honest with you, it's like a lot of times that I'm there, you know, it's like, say if you're doing tours or hanging out with like ghost hunting teams and stuff like that. It's kind of like I don't really notice a lot because to me it's just like, for me, it's kind of like one of them things to where it's just another day. You know, to me, it's just being, to me, going there's just normal. You know, so I never really, it's almost like maybe I just wasn't paying attention, or I don't worry about it. Like I don't think about it. Like I don't even, like it's kind of like a second home to me, I mean, that's kind of the feeling I've always had. So, but it's a really cool place to be, man. I mean, it's really just an awesome house, and it has amazing history. Just the history behind the house is just right down awesome. So, Ella, did you
I
have any
would
more?
love to hear the history for one.
I'll tell you what I'll do. Because if I start right now, I will be talking for like 2 to 3 hours, and nobody wants to hear me do that.
Gotcha.
So what I'll do, I will send you a link, and
Alright.
I will send you a link to the website, and it will talk about a little bit. You can probably research a lot of it on Google. You can probably Google a lot of it. Some stuff I will say that you will find on the internet, take with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because there is some stuff that gets posted that isn't facts. A lot of people like to throw in, this happened. No, it didn't. So,
Yeah.
like even like when I first started going, started hanging out, being a part of the staff, and I would start, like when I started doing tours, I would do research like crazy. And then I would talk to the caretaker, and I'm like, did this really happen? And he'd be like, no. And I'm like, what's it doing on the internet? And he'd be like, it's the internet. So it's kind of like, and he'd go, it's the internet. So yeah, it's an awesome, but yeah, I'll definitely send you a link and you can check it out and stuff like that.
All right.
Ella,
I'm up.
did you have any more questions? Okay. Okay, so I think we're about out of time. Because only set our timer for, so yeah, we're about out of time, and I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. It was a really cool conversation.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was. See, that's what I like to do with the podcast. That's honestly what I promised I would do with the podcast, is make it fun. Make it, to where I don't care who I'm talking to, ghost hunting teams, psychics, UFO guys, Bigfoot guys. I promised I would make this podcast a lot of fun. And kind of make it entertaining. What? Oh, Ella, she popped up here with me, and she wants to go ahead and talk with you for a couple more minutes.
All right.
I wanted to say bye.
Well, thank you for having me on. It was an honor to meet you.
Okay, so so I think what I'll do, like for the video, in the description box, I will put a link to your radio show on there, so people can, if they can't find it, they're more than welcome to check it out, so they can listen to your radio show. And I'll be more than happy to promote it. Be more than happy for you to get people to check it out. And if you ever need a guest for me to come on, hey, feel free to ask.
You are welcome on my show. We will get you on there.
That would be awesome. I would love to do it. Sometimes, I love answering questions sometimes just as much as I like asking. So stuff like that. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to.
Yay.
You can definitely come back on mine too. We can go back and forth.
Look at that. Look at that. Part 2, everyone. Part 2. Come on
That's
back.
what I'm saying. Hey, why not? Let's do it. We can keep
Exactly.
we can keep it going. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it. Okay, so again, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. This has been a blast. I've had fun. And I know Ella had a good time, so thank you so much for talking to her. And she enjoyed it. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Like, I'll talk to anyone, you know?
Yeah, that's how I am too. And sometimes I have a hard time shutting up. So okay, so
On some things, I'm the same way. Don't worry.
hey, there ain't nothing wrong. I'm telling you. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, thank you so much for coming on. And if you want to decide to do it again, man, let's get it rescheduled and we'll do it.
All right.
Okay, so
I'm down.
okay, awesome. So I will talk to you later, and you have a good one.
You as well. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, awesome. All right, bye, Madison.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care.